Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Hold your horses. Let's not take it to the stupid. Joey Spencer. Look, man, Joey Spencer out here sounding like he want to pull out the Tszyu fight. So as a result, they got this guy Zarafa who's on standby and ready to fill in. Now you may say, Joey Spencer, who's that? That's exactly what I'm getting at. He is not a big name. He has a big opportunity and he's about to make a big mistake. He's mad because they got an Australian judge and two international judges, and he just feels like, hey, the judges may be unfair towards me. As a result, I don't want to get robbed. Hey, look, hold your horses. Stop taking it to the stupid. If you don't want to deal with that bull crap, with possible corruption in boxing, which exists, then take the decision out the judge's hands. Knock out Tszyu. Now, I'm going to tell you, I'm known for saying, Aussie, 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 oi, oi, oi. But I'm also known for keeping it real. And when it comes to Tszyu, I'm not sure how much he has left in the gas tank. He went through a tough fight with Fundora. I thought that was his fight to win if he didn't get that cut over his head, because he almost blasted Fundora's nose off his face. But when he got cut, fight changed. Anyway, he comes and he fights Murtazaliev, almost gets killed in that fight. So right now, I think it's a great opportunity for Joey Spencer. But when I hear this kind of talk, listen, he got to understand. He got to understand. He's a nobody. And I'm just going to keep it real. Now, you may say, damn, that's kind of harsh. No, I'm talking about, you want to talk about him and him being worried about controversial judges' decisions. He's a nobody when you're talking about a De La Hoya, when you're talking about a Floyd Mayweather, when you're talking about these big names. He's a nobody. But if he gets in the ring and clips Tszyu, overnight he becomes a somebody. Because the reality is most boxing fans don't even know who the hell he is. The diehards know who he is. Casual sure as hell don't know who he is. So it just annoys me that him and his team, I can understand saying, hey, we want an American judge or whatever. Beggars can't afford to be choosy. Get in there and knock him out. Now, we know when it comes to some boxing decisions, look, the horrible ones, they get your attention for a moment and then they seem to be, overlooked. Especially when the clear winner is apparent, right? But I'm going to tell you, when you talk about Pernell Whitaker, you're talking about De La Hoya, these are guys who have just been, flat out robbed in boxing matches. And forget what the judges think, it's the fans. When the preponderance of fans say that was a BS decision, 9 times out of 10, if you didn't watch the fight, you go back and watch the fight, you're going to understand why there is an uproar from the fans when it came to the final outcome. Anyway, there's a couple bouts where you saw fights happen where it's like, nah, I don't know about that. And that's where judges can really influence the outcome of a fight. And where you want to, I would say, even a guy like Joey Spencer, I can understand his team being somewhat concerned. But again, he's a nobody compared to De La Hoya and Felix Trinidad. That to me, that was one of the biggest pay-per-view bouts, and that was just a goddamn robbery. I don't care what you say. If Felix Trinidad came back and he finished the fight strong, De La Hoya outboxed him, man, that damn whole fight except for like the last couple of rounds. And so I don't care what anyone says. And when you look at the fact that De La Hoya lost that fight on decision, it was just, horrible. But what I will say is when it came to Felix Trinidad, man, he had exceptional lateral movement, footwork. He was skillfully avoiding the ropes when he was fighting De La Hoya. And he was maintaining, and De La Hoya was maintaining a safe distance. They both were maintaining a safe distance from each other. But the bottom line is, man, Don King was in full effect. And them judges jerked De La Hoya. So even when De La Hoya talks about that to today, he says, I won that fight. And he did win that fight. Sugar Ray Leonard and Thomas Hearns. Come in. Push, boy. What's wrong?
Chico said he heard footsteps.
Close the door. My little man, it was hailing outside, so my sons come down here talking about they hearing footsteps. Like, boy, y'all not hearing no damn footsteps. Anyway, Sugar Ray Leonard and Thomas Hearns too. That was one of those fights where, look, it took forever to get the fight made. And when they fought, most people felt that Thomas Hearns deserved to win. But, it ended up where, Leonard ended up in in a controversial draw. But different judges changed the outcome of the fight. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But when you look at the fact that you go into a fight where Hearns is just putting the bing-bings on Leonard, and then in 11th round, he scores another knockdown, man, by landing them big right hands. The fight was his to win, but they jerked him. Now, I'm going to tell you where judges can really influence the outcome of a fight, and this is where I say with Spence, I understand his concern, but again, he just needs to take it out of the judge's hands because he should learn from these guys that I'm talking about, these fights that happen. But that Canelo Golovkin 1 and 2, talk about getting robbed. Okay, Golovkin beat Canelo in the first fight and the second fight. I don't care what you say. He beat his ass. But, it is what it is. Golovkin didn't get the win. And I'm sure that left a sour taste in his mouth, man. Especially when you look at that 118, 110 for Alvarez, man. That was just horrible. That's the shit that put all the attention on Adelaide Bird because that scorecard was just ridiculous. But it happens. But, at the lower level, I'm not saying it doesn't happen, man, but those high-profile fights where a certain fighter, they need to win, then, it's really concerning. But the bottom line is, man, get in there and take the fight, take the decision out of the judge's hands. Another fight where you can understand Joey Spencer's concern is Tim Bradley Pacquiao won. Let me tell you something. Bradley lost that fight. I don't care what you say. He lost the fight, but it is what it is. When De La Hoya fought Felix Stern whipped De La Hoya's ass. De La Hoya was out of shape. He was fat, and he looked winded. It was just crazy, man. But there's so many fights that have happened, man, where, you can even say the shit wasn't close. But guys get jerked. And, the biggest one of all probably was Dan Pernell Whitaker and Julio Cesar Chavez. Whitaker whipped Chavez's ass. But, they did Whitaker the way they wanted to do him, and, it is what it is. So, that being said, man, and if you want to talk about Olympics, it's what happened to Roy Jones in the Olympics when he fought the Korean, the guy Park Sin-hun. That shit was horrible what they did to Roy Jones. And they still haven't given him. I think they did come in. They did something with Roy Jones. I think they did do something with Roy Jones in the last couple of years to right that wrong. But anyway, I still think Spencer is taking it to the stupid if he wants to pull out of the Tim Tszyu fight. Okay, pull out the Tim Tszyu fight to go fight who? You're lucky to even have your name mentioned. This, to me, is the equivalent of this guy, Terrell Herndon, pulling out of the Deontay Wilder fight. You got an opportunity to fight one of the superstars in boxing. I'm talking about Joey Spencer. And you're going to come and pull out because you're worried about the judges? That is the same thing like Terrell Herndon. He's not saying that, but if he was to come out now and start talking this, it's like, my man, walk away from this opportunity. Why? So, again, Spencer needs to learn from Tyrell to Real Herndon, where it's like, you know what, I'm just accept being the B-side here, and whatever they say, it is what it is. I appreciate the opportunity, and I'm going to do my best. And that's the mentality Spencer needs to have, because he ain't above no damn Tim Tszyu in any way, shape, or form. So he needs to get over that. That shit actually irked me a little bit. The fact that Zarafa could possibly jump in. I'm like, who's advising this guy? Who's advising him? Anyway, keep cool. And if Spencer was to watch this video, I'd say, learn from Tevin Farmer. A loss could really be a win for you. And a win could really be a loss for you, depending on how the fight played out. Y'all keep cool. I'm in the breeze.